Drugs are chemicals that affects the body and brain.
Some have long-lasting effect and some are permanent.
Drugs not a friend. It's actually an enemy.
It will destroy your dreams.
It will change you into someone you would never want to be.
Before tasting it, think about it first.
Does drugs solve your problems?
How about your family? Have you ever thought of them?
How about your future? How about your life?
Would you take the risk? Even if it affects everyone?
And everything. Please, stop!
Stop drug addiction.
Drugs is a substance used as a medicine or in making medicines which affects the body and mind and have potential for abuse. Drug addiction is a disease that affects a person's brain and behavior and lead to an inability to control the use of legal or illegal drug or medicine. There are four pharmacological classification of drugs: the stimulants, which is the uppers; the depressants, which is the downers; the psychedelic, which is the hallucinogen; and inhalants, which is the volatile substance. Depressants include substances that uppers, which is the vital body and functions, especially those brain and its part. This category is subcategorized as narcotics, sedatives and hypnotics, and tranquilizers. Depressants are drugs which relieve pain and produce profound sleep. It is also known as pain reliever. Opium and its derivatives are classified as narcotics. Extracted from opium poppy plant, which is the scientific name is Papaver somniferum. Papaver, which is the Greek term which means poppy. Somniferum in Latin means dream or induced sleep. Next, we have stimulant. They act on the central nervous system such that the effects are excitation, alertness, and wakefulness. They produce mental zest and vitality, reduce hunger, and give a feeling of well-being. We have hallucinogens. It constitutes a variety of drugs which distorts a person's concept of reality and thinking as well as her perception of time, sound, space, and sensation.
The symptoms of drug addiction depends on the specific substance abuse. 1. Experiencing the withdrawal symptoms when attempting to stop strong cravings for the drugs. Increasing doses to experience the same effects using the drug regularly. Spending a lot of time thinking about drugs, planning to obtain it, and using it, neglecting hobbies and other activities in favor of drugs use. Next is spending more time with other people who use drugs, neglecting family and old friends, and last, neglecting appearance and poor hygiene.
Drug addiction can be found in many forms. A person can be addicted to alcohol, prescription drugs, inhalants, or other street drugs like cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, and etc. Understanding the reasons people are initially attracted to drug use can help stop future user from becoming addicts. Experimentation and curiosity are the first factors that draw many people into trying drugs. They want to feel that high, the sense of euphoria that comes with drugs use. While this may lead to recreational use of drugs, using only in certain situations, it rarely leads to actual addiction unless other factors are present. However, some drugs like heroin are more likely to cause addiction than others, resulting in an addiction from simple experimentation alone. To understand what it feels like to be high, you first have to understand the different types of drugs. There are several different categories, and each drug abuse has its own nuances. In every case, drugs alter the function of the brain. They can either cause an unnatural increase or decrease in neurotransmitters that the brain begins to rely on changes. In brain chemistry, structure and function can be permanent dependence on drugs. To produce this neurotransmitter can cause symptoms of withdrawal when it is not present being high on drugs can affect a person's motivation levels, socialization, habits, routines, the experience of pleasure or anxiety, cognitive abilities, decision making, and self-control.
The highest rate of drug addiction in the Philippines. Based on its consolidated data gathered from operational reports and other law enforcement agencies, the PDEA said around 20.51% or 8,629 villages out of the 42,665 barangays nationwide have drug-related cases. Manila, Philippines, more than 8,000 barangays in the country are placed with the drug menace. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency's PDEA said. Metro Manila has highest rate of being drug affected with 92.10% of the region's barangay affected, followed by Region 4, Southern Tagalog at 33.78%. Methamphetamine, high chloride or shabu, and marijuana remain the most abused illegal drugs used in the Philippines. Based on 2014 arrest data, 88.78% involved the seizure of shabu, while 808.88% covered the confiscation of marijuana. Dangerous drugs such as cocaine, ecstasy, ephedrine, fly high, and others constitute the 236% of the drug-related arrests.
What law punishes drug-related offense in the Philippines? So we have Republic Act number 6425, or otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972. Organized the Dangerous Drug Board, or the DDB, to oversee drug abuse-related matters. The board, comprising 7 national agencies, focuses on the law enforcement, treatment, prevention, and research. We have also Republic Act number 9165, or otherwise known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. Provides that the state needs to enhance further the efficacy of the law against dangerous drugs, it being one of today's more serious social ills. It was enacted and passed by the Senate of the Philippines and the House of Representatives of the Philippines on May 30, 2002, repealing the Republic Act number 6425 as amended, providing funds thereof for the other purposes. 9165 is more recent and comprehensively law that replaces the RA 6425. It expands on the provisions of RA 6425 and provides stricter penalties for drug offenses. It also established a new agency, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or the PDEA, and responsible for the efficient law enforcement of all provisions on any dangerous drugs and or precursors or essential chemicals. PDEA is responsible for preventing, investigating, and combating any dangerous drugs, controlled precursors, and essential chemicals within the Philippines. The agency is tasked with enforcement of the penal and the regular provisions of Republic Act 9165 and implementing arm of the DDB, or Dangerous Drug Board. So we have also a related RA and dangerous drug. We have RA 10640. It is an act to further anti-drug campaign for the government, amending for the purpose of Section 21, Republic Act 9165. It was took effect on July 23, 2014. It provides so-called chain of custody rule. A rule is meant to maintain the integrity of evidence of drug cases and make the cases foolproof against adulteration and planting of evidence. The marking is the placing by the apprehending officer or the possessor buyer of his or her initials and signatures on the item seized. Under Section 21 of 9165, the PDEA is responsible for the custody and disposition of the seized items, including dangerous drugs, controlled precursors, essential chemicals, and laboratory. The apprehending team must conduct a physical inventory and photograph of the item in the presence of the accused, their representative or counsel, with an elected public officials and representatives of the National Prosecution Service or the media, and compliance with these requirements, so long as the integrity of evidence value of the seized items are properly preserved, will not render the seizure and custody invalid. And we have also the RA, an act penalizing the person driving under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, and familiar substances. and for other purposes, otherwise known as the Anti-Drug and Drug Driving Act 2013 or the ADA. Pursuant of Section 17 of Republic Act Number 10586, the following implementation of rules and regulations are hereby prescribed jointly by the Department of, first is the Transportation and Communication or the OTC. We have also the Department of Health, the DOH, and lastly we have the National Police Commission or the NAPOLCOM to carry out the provision of the said Act. Under 9165, Section 11, possession of dangerous drugs, the penalty of life imprisonment to death and the fine ranging from 500,000 to 10 million pesos shall be imposed upon a person who, unless authorized by law, shall possess any dangerous drugs in the following quantities, regardless of the degree of purity thereof: 10 grams or more of opium, morphine, heroin, cocaine hydrochloride, marijuana resin or marijuana resin oil, 50 grams or more of methamphetamine hydrochloride, 500 grams or more of marijuana. And also, we have the imprisonment of 20 years and 1 day to life imprisonment and a fine ranging 400,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos shall be imposed upon any person who, unless authorized by law, seized by the 5 grams or more but less than 10 grams of opium, morphine, heroin, cocaine, marijuana resin oil, methamphetamine hydrochloride, and etc. And we have also the imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years and a fine ranging from 300,000 pesos to 400,000 pesos if the quantities of dangerous drugs are less than 5 grams of opium, morphine, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, resin oil, methamphetamine hydrochloride, or shabu, or any dangerous drug stated in this law.
Huwag mong subukan.
Huwag mong subukan. Huwag mong subukan.
Huwag mong subukan. Masisira ang buhay mo.